this week's Survivor Chat.
It is the finale of the season of Millennials versus the Gen X.
This season has been freaking nuts, and I've loved every second of it.
It's been great. Jeff was backstage.
You can tell he's been loving it too.
Loves it. He even said, I love this cast a lot. More than any of the others might be.
Well, he said it's like one of his favorites, so...
He loves his job. He's not like the other hosts.
He's not Julie Chen, not watching the feeds.
Jeff freaking he lives for
Shout
this.
out Julie Chen. But anyway, we're down to the final 6 here.
No, shout out Rock and Roll Jeopardy. How many people remember that? Give it a thumbs up.
There's still a lot of game left to play. We've got 3 Millennials, 3 Gen Xers, and not a lot of time left here.
Well, Jay is worried. He doesn't have his idol anymore. He feels a little exposed.
Yeah, and he didn't even have to use it last time, so that kind of sucks. But anyway, David is also like, there could be an idol on the loose now that Jay's has been used, so he wants to make a fake one.
He's been saving little pieces here and there, some beads, some shells, some rope, some paint.
He wants to shake things up here.
It's arts and crafts time, and David is making an idol.
Yeah. Now, he's not going to use it the way that people have done it in the past where they're like, I'm going to make this fake idol and pretend that I have one. He wants to make it and hide it and have someone else find it.
Was absolute genius. Genius. I think this may be the first time this has ever happened.
I feel like somebody's done this before. I feel like I remember somebody doing this.
And planted it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. Because then they were like, wait, this is fake? I'm pretty sure. I remember the look of confusion and anger. I just can't remember who it was.
No, I had thought that people had played it and Jeff was like, no, this is fake.
Well, where do you think they got it from? Somebody else planted it. Right?
Or they gave it to somebody else.
Alright, well anyway, he went the whole 9 yards because he not only made the idol, he decorated the little shell that it was in, he slid the clue in there so it looked like it was real, and guess who found it?
Jay, because Jay was looking for an idol because he knew his ass was grass if he didn't find an idol.
Oh my god.
He knew he was going home.
But how ridiculous was it when Jay was just like, these idiots, like, didn't even see it? Oh my god.
It was great. Alright, so Ken, you may remember, inherited the legacy advantage from Jessica.
Right.
So now it is day 36,
it's time to open that bad boy
I think,
up. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's immunity.
He's going straight to the final 5.
Nice.
How nice for Ken.
I know. Well, at the immunity challenge, it was an obstacle course with a combo lock, and more obstacle course, and an upside down bat puzzle.
I love that! They've been showing us the bat all season, now it finally comes into play.
That was a tough puzzle.
Now, okay, you guys may know this. Are they allowed to, like, work on the puzzle on the ground and then set it up? Because, like, it always boggles my mind why people don't do that, because it makes so much more sense. Like, you won't have to worry about it, like, dangling and stuff. You can just do the puzzle and then put it up. But nobody seemed to do that.
No. Jay was, oh wait, did we happen to mention that the winner of this also gets a reward, and that is a steak dinner waiting for them back at camp?
Yeah.
You know it's not just going to be for one person. You know this is going to be
a big
like
deal.
Multiple people.
And Jay was out to an early lead. He was the first one to get his combination to open the lock.
By a lot.
Yeah. But guess what? He forgot to cover it up, so everybody was like, what?
Everyone was cheating. It was like, you know.
He didn't cover his paper during the test.
So that really cost him because everybody was opening their combo lock and everybody caught up. And David, it came down to David and Adam at the end, and David won.
No, and Jay. But
David
Jay,
Jay.
freaking his whole puzzle fell.
Right. Yes, yes,
Crazy.
yes, yes, yes.
But David, that was a huge comeback for him.
Yeah.
He ended up winning.
So, he pulls out his, Jeff, I have...
Jay pulls out.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm, like, living it.
I know.
He pulls out his thing. His advantage.
Steal a reward?
Yeah. His advantage from Adam.
Right. Yeah, because a couple weeks back, Adam was like, I'm giving this to you. So Jay, well, no. David was about to say who he wanted to join him for the steak meal. And Jay was just like, oh, wait a second, I'm gonna steal this. But then he wasn't a D about it.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was
like, David, you're coming on this reward with me because you won it fair and square.
And Adam, because they're bros.
And he gave him the stealer reward advantage.
Right.
So he felt like he was paying him back.
Alright, so, at the reward, working lunch.
There were some strategic reasons for Jay's picks as well. He was hoping that he would be able to get David and Adam's votes because, let's face it, they are the 3 biggest players left. I think, anyway.
Right. Well, I think Jay was definitely a meat shield.
Yeah, he was saying, keep me around because if you get rid of me, guess what? You guys are the 2 big targets left, so they're going to come after you. So he was like, keep me, we'll all go to the final 3 together.
Yeah.
And the wheels were definitely turning there, at least for David. He was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea.
Hannah was a definite maybe, and Adam was a no.
He didn't want to go to the finals with with Jay and David.
Well, Jay tries to smooth it over with Adam, but we'll see what happens in Tribal. Do we have a bromance? No?
They've had
Yes?
such a
No?
weird relationship this whole season.
They have a love-hate relationship.
It's been a joy to watch.
It has been. So at Tribal, Jeff probed around the working lunch, the whole theory of you've got to take the right people to the end because you could play the game, make it to the end, and if you're on the outs with the jury, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You're sitting there with no votes then.
And you didn't even get to see Ponderosa.
And Jeff brought up the fact that Jay effing blew it by not covering his work.
He could have won that reward and
He could
the
have been
immunity.
sitting there with the immunity necklace around his neck and safe, going to the final 4.
Yeah, so then everybody votes, and it's time to reveal the votes. But first, Jay is all like, Jeff, wait. And he plays the freaking fake-ass idol. And not only does he play it, he's so obnoxious about it. He's like, I'm not going home tonight.
And Jeff throws it into the fire. That was great.
And Jay was just like,
what?
This is...
No, Adam was like that too.
Not a real idol. Well,
Adam
because
was
they were
like-
freaking out that, like, he pulled this freaking thing out. But
Yeah.
David was just like... Because he knew.
Yeah.
He made the
Then
freaking
Classy Ken plays his legacy advantage. He's like,
And they're
I
all
think
again
this is
like,
a
what?
real idol.
Yeah, so any votes for Ken will not count.
Well, there was some votes for Ken, but Jay ended up being voted out. And he was so smarmy. He was like, go ahead, Jeffrey, snuff out my
I don't
torch.
think he was smarmy. I think he took it really well.
I mean, he was playfully smarmy. I didn't mean he was being a D.
No, he was really playful about it. I thought it was a classy exit.
Yeah.
Good
but-
for you, Jay.
Yeah,
I was very up and down with him this whole season, but I do like him. And he played a
Definitely.
great game.
definitely. I'd like to see him get his own show. Okay.
All right, we got to keep moving this thing right along because there's still a lot of game left.
Again, it's another obstacle course with a word puzzle. Go figure. They haven't had any of those this season. Alright, so Ken ended up dropping his tiles during this challenge twice.
Yeah,
he had to
'cause
start
it wasn't
over.
like you're just carrying them. You had to hold them between 2 little plunger things.
A lot of people had some spills, but I think Hannah had a couple too.
Yeah. But Ken
David
ended up...
had some recoveries.
Yeah, Ken ended up winning immunity.
Yeah, even though he screwed it up.
I thought for sure that
He did
David was
great
going
on
to
that
catch up
puzzle.
on this puzzle, but
Yeah.
Ken pulled it out.
Yep. So Ken wins immunity, and Adam realizes I'm in trouble because he knows that Ken is very loyal to David. And if Adam does not have an immunity, he's probably going home.
And not only does he want it for himself, he wants to make sure that David does not get it.
Right. So he says he's got some stomach issues. He goes and he finds the freaking immunity idol.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. You have to wonder sometimes, how do these people always seem to find it when they need it?
That's also editing.
Okay. Okay,
Like,
then.
I think I'm going to look for the idol.
Yeah.
And then they find it. They're not going to, like, show every time
Yeah, that's
somebody says
true.
that and then they don't find
That's
it.
true. All right, so David, he tries to make a final 3 deal with Hannah and Ken.
Yeah, he's like, don't vote me out, guys. Let's take out Adam.
Yeah.
So Hannah's like, well... So Adam reveals to her that he found the idol. and he is not going anywhere tonight. So she's just like, I don't like your arrogance. So she's thinking, like, maybe we should flip this around and vote out Brett so that David will stay.
Exactly. But Adam is totally against it because he knows that if David makes it to the finals...
Well, he doesn't know about it.
No, well, that's why he wants David out.
He doesn't know about this plan to potentially get rid of Brett instead of David.
Right. He's dead set on having David voted out.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So it's time for tribal. And it's all like, oh my God, what is Hannah going to do?
God, what will Hannah do? All right, so Jeff is probsting final three. Look, Jeffrey, we cannot even talk about the final three until we can get to the final four first.
Yeah. You don't want to, count your chickens.
No, exactly. Hatch. David is worried. He might be going, Jeff. Come on.
But guess what? They voted and Brett is going.
Adam was really shocked.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't just shocked. He was pissed at Hannah.
Yeah. You
just made the biggest mistake.
She's a flipper. Well, Brett was pissed, too. Mm-hmm. He was like, all right, you, all yous idiots, just handed this to David.
We'll see.
Let's get back to the next immunity challenge.
All right.
All right. This is a obstacle course for a bowl. You got to send 13 bowls through the obstacle course and stack them up.
Which is sitting on a spring.
It's sitting on top of the obstacle course. On a spring. The whole thing's on a spring.
Yes.
And it's very windy that day.
It was.
Oh my God. There's a 30-minute time limit though, but this whole thing is a shaky shack. It's a Shake Shack. Just like in Greece. Mm-hmm. The Shake Shack.
Yeah, right. You have to wonder if any of them would have actually made it to 13 if it hadn't been windy.
Right.
I'm not so sure.
Well, there was a lot of windy wipeouts.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, everybody ended up knocking over their tower.
A lot of people tried to be very strategic.
They would, like, wait it out.
Right.
You know, maybe the time runs out before people could rebuild again.
Right. So, it came down to a tie after 30 minutes. Nobody had won it outright, so it was between Ken and Hannah.
So then there was a 5-minute face-off between the two of them.
Right. And Ken won, even though it was like this close.
It was like 10, 9, 8, 7. Right in the nick of time.
Every time Jeff was like, oh, you've got 45 seconds, I thought it was going to go like that. But then, like, 3 bowls later, it's like, okay, you got 10 seconds left.
No, it's like the end of a football game. Those last 2 minutes.
They're the killer. They're the absolute killer.
Yeah, so Ken won another individual immunity.
All right, so Ken wants to take David.
They're homies. They've been homies since, like, day 2.
Ken is all about the loyalty. Mm-hmm. Hannah... She doesn't want to lose to David.
She's like, you know what? It's time for David to go.
I mean, there comes a time in the game when you have to say, look, I've got loyalty to a point. Mm-hmm. I don't want to lose. I'm going to be loyal if I can help myself, if I can better my own game. But if my game's going to suffer, then I can't be loyal anymore.
Well, here's the thing, too. If Ken and David were to vote out Adam and Hannah were voting out David, it would have been a tie. They would have had to have done the fire challenge.
Right.
And seems like David was a lot better at making fires than Adam. Because
he made them every day. Adam didn't. He wasn't good at fire.
All right. Well, the decision really came down to Ken. What's he gonna do?
All right. Well, at Tribal, there's a definite mutual admiration between Hannah and Jeffrey Probst.
Yay!
He loves Hannah. I mean, he was so enamored with her that she coined the phrase
transformation.
Yeah, but when she also
the trust cluster.
Trust cluster. He loved that.
Because he loves people who truly love the game like he does.
Exactly. And he also wants to know, hey, what's up with this loyalty thing? You guys, is that important to you?
Sometimes. All right, well.
Not this time, because freaking David was voted out. I was all ready to see a fire challenge because I did not think that Ken was going to vote David out.
Yeah, as much as I was rooting for David, I can't really blame the others for voting him out because
absolutely not.
He would have been a huge threat in the final 3 to win.
It would have been as exciting as hell to see David in the finals, but it wasn't to be. So you know what happens when there's only 3 survivors left. It's Survivor Breakfast Club.
Woo!
Woo.
Yeah, but let's skip all that because we've got more important things to talk about
right.
here.
Ken, they had the whole let's talk about the season, let's ask some questions. Ken broke down and cried when Jessica brought up the fact that he was not loyal to David and by voting him out in the last go-round.
Yeah, I think most of them really respected that move, though.
Half of them respected it. Jessica was upset that...
was she, though? I feel like she was trying to get him to justify it to everybody.
That could be. That could be.
I don't know.
It seemed like Hannah and Adam were arguing.
They were fighting the whole time.
Because they were both trying to claim...
the moves.
The moves, yeah.
Throughout the season, yeah.
Yeah.
Ken was just like, I was loyal. That was pretty much it. But Hannah and Adam were really going back and forth trying to claim things.
Yeah, trying to claim who masterminded what move. So.
Yeah. Well, guess who else tried to claim something? Freaking Chris was like, I'm a trial lawyer, and I gotta say, everybody should vote for Adam because he convinced Ken to vote out David.
Yeah.
But didn't we just see that Hannah was the one who did that?
Well, Ken tried to say that he thought of it on his own.
Yeah. I was really surprised. I thought that Ken was gonna be like, actually, Hannah was the one who did that.
Yeah, really.
But no.
Did you see that look that Chris gave Ken when he said, when he called him out?
Yeah,
he was just like,
yeah, okay. Woo! All right.
Closing arguments. Hannah, I was a mess day one. Now look at me.
She's come a really long way.
She's come a long way. Ken, he's playing for his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Then Adam outs himself as playing for his mom.
This was so emotional.
There was not a dry eye at the tribal. It was...
Yeah, because before, the only person that he had shared this with was Jay.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody else was hearing this for the first time. Yeah. And it was a lot.
Yeah, so they had the vote, and then they counted the vote back in the studio.
Woo!
And Adam won unanimously.
Yay! Congrats, Adam! He played a great game.
He did.
I would have been happy with most of the people in the finals winning.
Yeah.
But you gotta give it to him.
Yeah.
He was in it the whole time. He was playing hard the whole time. Usually you don't see people who start off playing so hard make it all the way to the end.
True. And he made some mistakes along the way, too.
He did, but he was able to overcome that.
Those are fatal mistakes, but he did overcome them.
Yeah.
So it's time for the reunion. Jeff again says how much he loves these mofos.
Yeah.
He really does. He had a great time this season. Mm-hmm. And it showed. When he got knocked down by the wave, and when he had to evacuate them because of the cyclone.
I can't believe that was this season. That feels like a million years ago. Oh, I have another question for the audience. So, when somebody wins unanimously, how do they decide who gets second place? Does no one get second place? Do they split it?
I hope they both get the second place prize.
I don't know.
I think that would be the right thing to do. Don't you, Survivor?
Because it was like a tie, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you guys know, leave it in the comments.
Now, it's pretty obvious that Adam has a special bond with his mom. They had tried out for the season previous to that, the Blood versus Water. Did Jeff actually say that they wanted them to be on the show, but then his mom got sick?
I thought he was talking about this season when they were saying, we want you on the show.
Right.
And he had just found out that she was sick.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my god, it was such a mess during this part.
I hope that they were handing out rolls of paper towels because there was trail of tears in this audience. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody on the jury was like bawling.
Everyone everywhere!
Freaking Jeff Probst was bawling. The whole audience was bawling. We were crying.
I was just glad that Adam said he got to see his mom again when he got home.
I cannot believe she died an hour after he got back.
Yeah.
An hour. She waited for him. That is so emotional and special and just amazing.
Yeah.
So he's partnered with Stand Up to Cancer. They're going to Bristol Myers Squibb is going to match up to $100,000 of the donations that he's going to raise.
Well, apparently they're doing that because he was like, "Guess what? I'm
donating
$100,000 from the winnings." That's awesome.
That is awesome. I
Yes.
know. All right, so let's talk about. It's hard to like want to talk about everybody else after.
I know. Then they were
Such
like,
an
"Hey, look at
emotional thing.
David's transition."
Yeah.
His transformation, which actually it was also very remarkable this season. There were a lot of transformations this year.
Zeke, he was a former geek. I loved his dad when his dad.
This is my hero.
Yeah, I love that. That's cool. Brett, he's out of the closet.
Good for you, Brett.
I think he was out before the show.
But not on this level. He said with
Right.
like friends and like
Right.
family, close friends and family.
Okay.
So good for him.
Yeah, when they showed Hannah and Ken, and I'm thinking, oh my god, are these two dating? And then I remember at Tribal Council, I noticed that Ken was rubbing Hannah's back and like her hip. Like,
I don't
he had his
think
arm
so.
around her. And I was thinking, oh my god, that would be so awesome if the two of them were dating. But they're not. He said he's not single. It's complicated.
Okay.
I wanted Hannah to go out with him.
She'll find someone else.
It's
Okay.
like every nerdy girl's dream.
I don't think it's every nerdy girl's dream. Alright, so then they talked to Michaela. She was such an exciting player to watch. It was too bad that she was voted out so early in the season.
She was too good of a player.
But guess what? She's coming back.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Not yet. And then Jessica.
She doesn't really regret going to Rocks.
Going to Rocks, yeah.
She thought it was the right move. I have to agree with her. She just got the sucky rock.
She picked the wrong rock. Will, he was the first high school kid, still the youngest to ever play the game.
I like
Pretty
Will's
awesome.
haircut.
I do too. It's a big,
Looks very nice.
big improvement. Sunday, she's a mom, and you know what? That's not the friggin' end of the world. You can still go for your dreams even after you pump out some kids.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Taylor and Figgy are no more.
Oh. Yeah.
You guys know what happened.
They really kind of glossed over this because apparently it was like a really nasty breakup. Taylor's actually like a dad now, and
He was
for,
gonna...
for not Figgy's kid.
Yeah. Because it happened before the show.
You guys can Google that.
Yeah. All right, and Chris, of course, had to get his little Brett's one true love on the show. He had to be adaptable to learn to live without me.
Whatever. Let's talk about next season.
Oh my God! It's an all-star season, and it looks like all amazing.
This is like all the really crazy competitive people coming back.
It's called Game Changers.
All the people that play really hard.
Michaela, Tony from Cops R Us Alliance.
Ty and Beast Mode Cowboy. Package deal.
Yes. Sierra, Sari, Sandra. Two-time winner.
That's crazy.
Ozzy.
This is like his 5th time back.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. Those are just a few.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the rest of the cast and see these crazies play together.
I want to wrap this up with one question. Michelle, what the actual F were you wearing?
What?
It was like some chupacabra,
Biting her shoulder that like came around. Like, what?
First of all, I hope that wasn't real. And second of all, what?
I don't know if that could be real. I didn't think it was like a real animal, but
was the
whatever.
fur real?
I like
Were
that
any animals
she
harmed? I
reported
hope not.
that everybody from this season is really cool with each other, and that's
No
great.
grudges.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. I guess we'll be covering next season as well if you want to stop by. And
Starts in March.
till next time,
Much love.
Edit.